My name is Sam Reed, and today we will be talking about the U-2 incident. As tensions and nuclear weapon count between the United States and the Soviet Union continue to rise, complications between the two military superpowers increase even more with the events concerning the downed U-2 American spy plane that was shot down over the Soviet Union. Leader of the Soviet Union, Nikita Khrushchev, was outraged with the United States and President Eisenhower. President Eisenhower attempted to cover up the crash as a weather plane, as the U-2 spy plane was equipped with self-destructive devices. However, the Soviets were able to capture the pilot alive and the plane intact for the most part. We have several interviews set up, including the Soviet missile battery commander who shot down the U-2 spy plane, as well as the backup pilot for Francis Gary Powers, Bob Erickson. Now we go to Jordan and the Few, interviewing Mr. Erickson.
I'm here with Bob Erickson, a U-2 pilot who was the backup for Francis Gary Powers and his flight over the Soviet Union. Before we talk about the ongoing incident involving the downing of the Powers aircraft, would you like to give us a bit of information on the U-2V pilot, or plane? Excuse me.
Well, sure. The U-2 is a spy plane covertly developed and tested for the CIA by Lockheed, designed to fly higher than any Soviet aircraft or missile. The U-2 can fly at a height of 21 kilometers or 70,000 feet. It has a maximum range of 5,000 kilometers, which is about the distance from New York to London. This allows the aircraft to fly long distances over the Soviet Union and observe several targets in one run.
That sounds like an impressive aircraft. How was this tested in secrecy?
Well, it was actually tested in the area known as Groom Lake, or by the name you probably know, Area 51. It was designed because of the lack of any photos of the Soviet Union, but was originally rejected by the Air Force, then adopted by the CIA. It began its first flights in the mid-50s.
What is your relation to the recent series of events involving the U-2 over the USSR?
Well, I was scheduled to fly if Powers could not for any reason. Our mission was actually postponed several days due to weather, so I flew back to our air base in Turkey and another pilot took over for me. Just a few weeks ago, I flew a recon mission over the Soviet Union and evaded 2 Soviet interception attempts. I've only just got back home from flying my aircraft home, which is why I'm still in my pressure suit here.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. Good luck flying.
Thanks.
Back to you, Sam.
I'm here with a detailed overview of Operation Grand Slam, the mission in which the recent event occurred. Powers took off from Peshawar, Pakistan on May 1st, 1960. His mission was to take this flight over the Soviet Union. During his flight, Powers was to photograph ICBM sites at and around the Plesetsk Cosmodrome and the Baikonur Cosmodrome, where the Soviets launched the first spacecraft to fly near the moon. The Soviets were on high alert and knew the U-2 was coming. However, their initial attempts to destroy the aircraft failed. Powers was flying over the Kusulino area when he was hit by the first of 3 SA-2 missiles. Another missile hit a Soviet MiG-9 who had an improperly set IFF tag. While bailing out, Powers had issues with his oxygen hose because he forgot to disconnect it and almost went down with his plane. He managed to break free and parachute down safely, but also forgot to set the aircraft to destroy itself. Once on the ground, he opted not to use a poison needle kit to kill himself and allowed himself to be captured.
Today I am graced with the presence of General Mikhail Voronov, the Russian missile battery commander who was finally able to shoot down the U-2 spy plane piloted by American pilot Francis Gary Powers. How did it feel to take down this American spy?
It felt excellent. All the other General's missiles batteries could not hit the plane. When I fired the first of my 3 missiles, I felt that, in my gut, that it was successful in hitting the plane.
You also shot down a Soviet interceptor plane. Was it worth it to take down one of your allies while also taking down the American spy?
Of course it was worth it. That American easily could have stolen information on our operations. Even great empires need to have a few sacrifices.
Well, thank you for your time, General. Now back to you, Sam.
Thank you. When Francis Powers was caught, there were speculations from the Soviet Union about the purpose of the U-2 plane. Powers was caught and brought to Moscow to be interrogated. He didn't give up any information, and on August 19, 1960, he was tried for spying. After being found guilty, he was sentenced to 10 years of prison. Because he was a spy, he was given a lesser treatment.
I appreciate that, Sam. I'm here in Washington, D.C., where Clarence Cannon has just released a statement saying what the true mission of the missing U-2 plane was. Tell me, ma'am, what do you think about what has just been said?
I'm very upset that our country would do something like that and then make such an elaborate story to cover it up. I mean, saying that a spy plane is a weather plane with a pilot experiencing oxygen difficulties? Why do that?
Now, don't you think the Soviet Union overreacted when they told the government what information they had?
Maybe a little, but they do have some rights to be mad. We did send a spy plane over their country to take pictures of constricted places where no one could go.
Now, finally, how do you feel about Francis Powers, the pilot of the U-2 plane?
I feel kind of sorry, but kind of mad. So many people are being told him that it's depressing, but he should have kept his mission a secret from the Soviets.
Thank you for those insightful responses.
Anytime.
Back to you, Sam.
Terrible things have occurred thousands of miles across the world when President Eisenhower sent a U-2 spy plane to search for nuclear plants and ICBM sites in the Khrushchev-controlled Soviet Union. Gary Francis Powers was the pilot of this aircraft, but it was shot down. Since the aircraft was captured by Soviet forces, tensions have been rising more so than they were originally. What will succumb out of this? Now to a story on how a single cat who defused a bomb